covered over it. And then I'll say that way. I don't even have to. I've been using MailChimp.
You're just in time. I was just about to say hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming to the meetup. Hashtag Sensi Bloggers. I decided we should start using a hashtag Sensi Bloggers. And, you know, maybe we'll generate some more enthusiasm and excitement about this meetup if we all are using the hashtag. So, some of you are new, some of you have been before, so welcome to those who are new, and thank you for coming back to our returning folks. So my name is Susan, and I work here at Ahology. Don't ask me how we say it. Just think of it like it's an aha moment, because our business was kind of founded on the idea of the science of discovery of content, so things that are interesting to people. We help companies figure out what content they should be delivering to people they're trying to reach. Pinterest was kind of our first hook, and we're now moving beyond. We're doing more than just Pinterest, but I am a blogger myself and started this meetup because I just like to hang out with other bloggers, and I'm allowed to use the space and do this, and Ahology pays for the food, which is super nice, and so it's been a growing thing, and we've got a fully stacked calendar for the whole year. If you check out our meetup calendar, I've got every month booked through December, and I hope that the topics are of interest. I tried to use, we did a poll a couple months back to kind of gauge interest. So I try to use, you know, what people are interested in and also what our speakers wanted to talk about. So I want to introduce today our speaker, Kate Cheevers. Is it Cheevers?
Yeah,
like
Cheevers.
Cheetos?
Yeah. Or over, conversely, you could say like overachievers.
Overachievers.
Yeah.
I like that.
Better than Cheetos.
I think it's actually.
I don't know, is it?
It's a little
So Caitlin is a fabulous combination of a feminist and a blogger, and she likes design and other cool things, and she just got a new job at Girl Scouts. She lives in Cincinnati, so she wants to talk about design. She can talk about whatever she wants, but her design is gorgeous. If you go to her site is called Impossibly Dinosaurs, which I just think is a fun name. And she's going to talk about using InDesign to make cool things that make people want to join your email list, and then your blog will take over. So I'm going to let her take it away.
Yeah.
And it's being recorded, so we're going to have a little, I'm going to put the video up for people that weren't able to make it.
So no stupid questions.
Well, you can, you can totally ask stupid questions. It's just recorded and it'll be public.
All right, so yeah, so I'm going to talk about using content upgrades to grow your email list and making content upgrades that people will actually want to download. So first, a little further introduction. So I'm the founder and owner of Impossibly Dinosaurs. Been a blogger since early 2014, but an InDesign user since 2006. I learned it when I was on my high school yearbook staff. I was one of those people. We used InDesign to create our entire yearbook. I'm also only 25, if that makes sense. Just so you don't have to do the math there. And so we use it to create our entire yearbook. So it works really well for print books, which is kind of one of the main reasons that people use InDesign. It's also great for a lot of digital things, which I'll get into in a little bit. As Susan said, I'm a proud feminist. That's one of the 3 topics I talk about on my blog. It's design, blogging, and feminism. So one out of every 3 posts is about a feminist topic. And I'm also a huge hockey fanatic. There is a Red Wings game on in an hour, so I'm going to try to be fast. It's like the end, so no pressure. So my goal with my blog is to take all of the intimidating aspects of design and blogging and make them really approachable and easy to understand. Because I don't want to see people have a dream to create a website or create a blog and not be able to achieve that because they don't understand the tech side. Because it's really not as difficult as you may think, but it is definitely intimidating. So I try to take all of those aspects of blogging and design to make them really easy to understand for anyone. So basically, every blogger ever will tell you that you need to grow your email. Any blog that I follow that is on the blogging topic half of their posts are about how you need to grow your email list. You can use it as a sales pitch. If you have a product that you're selling, you can use it just to reach out to your audience and have a further connection with them. So basically everyone agrees it's really important. So the question is, how the heck do you actually do that? My favorite way is through content upgrades. So content upgrades are going to be an extension of your blog post. So it's going to be on the same topic as your blog post. If you're writing a blog post about, I'm going to just use hockey as an example, about why the Red Wings are awesome, I'm not going to have a content upgrade that's about the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to keep it about the Red Wings and why they're awesome, because that's the reason that people came to read my blog post. I want to, like, they came there for a reason, I want to grab them with that same reason. If it's not on the same topic, they might not have any cares in the world about the Montreal Canadiens. So, it should also be helpful to your audience. You want it to be something that people are actually going to want, because if they don't want it, they're not going to give you their email address. So make it something that's super helpful. So some examples that I really like to do are worksheets. So I've done blog posts that are how to create a style guide for your blog, and then I'll share a worksheet that you can then fill out with all of your data so that it's easier for you to create a style guide for your blog. So creating something that's a direct extension of your blog post, that's something that they can actually fill out and then use. Another great example of a content upgrade is a desktop background. I gave someone my email address for this desktop background because it's adorable. So people, if it's something that's cute that people will like, that's on brand, people will give you their email address for it. And an ebook. I don't necessarily recommend giving out a free 30-page ebook because it's not necessarily something that people are going to spend the time to read. They won't see it as something that's valuable if the only thing that they're giving you for it is their email address. That would be something really great as a product that you sell because they're going to see the value in it. But something like a 7-page ebook that goes through, you know, the seven steps of using Pinterest to grow your blog. That's something that will be useful, that is small enough that they're going to do it right away. You could also do a template. So I'm a designer, I blog about design. So I'll give out templates for like media kits or ebooks, something that they can then use to do what I'm teaching them how to do. There's also a bonus if your content upgrade is interactive. And I'll show you what that means in a little bit, but basically it means that it's got forms, it's got checklists that people can actually utilize on their computer. So they don't have to print it out to fill out your worksheet. They can fill it out right from their computer without having to bring it into Photoshop or something like that to fill out the answers. So the question is, do you use Photoshop or do you use InDesign for these events? I spent all day on Photoshop today, so if I never saw Photoshop again, it would be too soon. So I'm going to tell you why I think InDesign is a great option for content upgrades. So Photoshop, it's all raster based. So if any of you have been in Microsoft Paint, you know what a pixel is. You draw it and you're only getting 1 pixel. It's going to be really ugly. If you blow it up, the pixels are going to be showing. You can't make it infinitely big. So think of a photograph. You have a pixel-based photograph, and if you take a photograph from Facebook and try to print it out as a 24 by 36 inch poster, it's not going to look good. It's going to be really pixelated. It's going to be really low quality. That is what raster-based is. It's based on pixels. You can only make it so big. It's great for photos. Like I said, photo is in the name of Photoshop. So that's primarily what you want to use it for editing photos. But the problem is you can only do 1 page with it. So if you want to create an ebook or a 2-page worksheet, you're going to have to create 2 different documents in Photoshop, a page 1 and a page 2, and you don't necessarily open one and open the other. And there's no interactive capabilities. You could create what looks like a form, but people can't access it on their computer. They would have to print it out to utilize it. Now, InDesign, on the other hand, it's vector-based. So it's all based on math. Don't worry, you don't have to do any of the math. And so you draw a line, and you can make that line or that shape with that line as big as you want it. You can take this tiny little logo, and if it's vector-based, you can make a 24 by 36 inch poster, and it's still going to be great quality. Because it's all based on math, it's saying, okay, this is what the shape needs to look like, and you can blow it up as big as you want without losing any of that quality. It's great for graphics and photos. So you can import photos into InDesign after you've edited them in Photoshop, and then you can add your own graphics as well without losing any of that quality because they would be vector-based. You can do one page in InDesign, or you can do as many pages as you want. Mind you, if you have like a 1,000-page ebook, it's going to slow down your computer a lot, and you're probably going to want to check it out a window. But you can do multiple pages in your documents in InDesign in one file. And it's got interactive capabilities. You can make a checklist. You can make a fill-in-the-blank form. And just to show you what that looks like, so this is a blogging style guide that I made that people can download and fill in the information about their blog. And you can just click here and type in any notes that you have. So I want my font to be size 32 pixels. I want the color to be that teal color, and I want the size, I want this to be Lato, and I want the size to be 32 pixels. So then once I save it, it's already on my computer. I didn't need to print that out to fill it out. If I made this in Photoshop, you'd have to print it out, write it all in by hand, and if you wanted it on a computer, you'd have to scan it back in. So with InDesign, you're able to do it all from your computer. And that is also great customer service for your audience members because they're not wasting paper, they're not wasting their time. And if I want to ever go in and change this, I can always go back in. I could save it as if I wanted my previous version, and I can change it however often I want without having to print it out every single time. So, probably sounds really intimidating, right? Like, how the heck am I supposed to do any of that? Well, good news, InDesign is like super easy. I've been using it for 10 years now, and it's basically drag and drop. So we're gonna do a fun experiment. Who has a content upgrade they want to make? Who has a topic they want to make a content upgrade about? Yeah.
Checklist for working moms. My blog is working
Okay.
moms. My blog is Working Moms Against Guilt. And my new obsession is checklists because I can never remember all the things I have to do for something. And so I want to create like checklists for those common things that you need to do a lot.
Yeah, awesome. So we click on new. We want one page, right? Just a one page checklist?
Sure.
And we want it to be US letter size, which is what that's saying. So that's pre-populated. It's automatically going to do a portrait orientation, letter size, one page. You can change that if you wanted. If you wanted to do 2 pages, you can do that. But we'll just do one. So click OK. And so what types of things, while this opens, would you want on your checklist?
Let's say it is a finding a child care center.
Okay.
Finding, like looking for a
So
child
it's a
care
checklist to find
to
it.
find it,
Okay.
right? Like things you need to do. You need to check their ratings. You need to visit them,
Okay.
schedule a tour,
Cool.
compare pricing.
Great. So I'm going to go over here and select this rectangle tool from the toolbar. You guys can see that. And I'm just going to go to the top and create a box. And then go over to swatches, which is where all of my colors are. And just for the sake of ease, we'll just do straight cyan because it's already pre-populated. So bam, we've already got a blue box. We're doing pretty good.
Oh, so good.
So then we'll draw a new text box. I'm going to draw it below just so that I can type into it. So finding a child care. And we're going to use all of our skills that we've learned using Microsoft Word and choose the font styles because it's literally that easy. So I'm going to highlight everything after I typed it into a text box, which I did just by clicking the text tool over here. So we're going to go with, we talked about my favorite font earlier, we're going to go with Lato. And it's pretty small there, so we're going to bump up the font size, which again, these are basically all of the same things that you're seeing in Microsoft Word. So it's not like you have to learn a new way of organization just for InDesign. Then I go over here, want to align the center, and because it's going to be a cyan background, I'm going to make it, paper is the equivalent of white, because imagine if you're printing something out, like you would primarily use in InDesign, you're not going to have a white ink that would be in that spot, it's just going to be plain paper. So they name it paper because that's the way to think of it when you're printing it out. So right now we can't see it, it's on the paper white background, so I just move it up, center it, bam, I think a child care center. So, and we'll just create another text box that we're just gonna create a list of all the different things. So start naming things off that we need to do.
Okay,
Check
Ask your
ratings.
friends.
Google.
How often do they beat the children?
Check, if it's rated by, check ratings,
I gotta check ratings.
pricing. Pricing.
Hours.
Schedule tour.
Activity.
Hours,
What their hours are.
There you go.
hours, locations around you.
Oh, teacher to children ratio. Security measures.
Video access.
Video access.
You can tell that I am not a mother, so I have no idea.
What about if they provide transportation from school?
Transportation. Food, like meals.
Yeah.
Or nutrition or something.
How much it is extra if you're after 6 o'clock or
Extra
whatever the cutoff
charges,
time.
overtime charges.
Yeah,
All right, so that's a good list. So we'll, again, select all, just change it to the same font. And make it a little bigger, just because people are gonna be seeing this on a computer. Please say 18. I'm gonna bump it over because we're gonna make some check boxes, so they can actually check if they've done something, and then they'll remember in the future, oh yes, I have checked. So I'm gonna go back to the rectangle tool. Just like we did, I'm gonna go up to where I want it, but rather than just freeforming it, I'm gonna hold Shift to create a straight square. And then over here, we chose the cyan to do the fill because this fill over here is selected. You'll see that this other box that's got a hole in the middle is behind the one that's just solid. So I'm gonna click on this one that has the hole in the middle because that's the stroke. So that's anything that's around your shape, whether that's a rectangle shape, a circle shape, it's just the border of it. In InDesign, it's called the stroke. So we'll just do a black box.
Okay, so the
So the solid box is going to be your fill. So whatever the fill of the object is.
Okay.
The one that's behind it has a circle in the middle because that's the stroke. That's the border of your object. And to choose what your stroke is going to be, you want to click on that box so that it's in front of the fill. So whichever one is in front of the other is the one that you're choosing the color of.
can you determine how thick it is?
Yes, you can. So if I go over here to stroke, it's automatically set at 1 point, but I can make that jumbo if I wanted. I could make it super, well, that's too tiny. I could make it really small, and if I zoom in on it, oop, that's not the zoom tool. If I zoom in on it, you can see how much it can change. And then you can do, so you'll see there's a blue box. That's the outline of the border, that's the actual shape of the box, the dimensions of it. And I can choose the stroke right now, it's the center of that line. I can choose it to be inside the box or outside the box, which is really helpful when you have text inside of it. If you want the text box to be full width, you'd want the border to be outside of it if you had a border so that it's not encroaching on how much space your text has. But for the checkbox, we'll just leave it, and I'm actually gonna do 2 points is too wide. So and I'll just line these up. I would do a little bit more if we weren't doing this live in terms of lining it up. But I'll just copy and paste this and just kind of do it in line.
Maybe you'll get to this, but what's the advantage of doing this over Word?
Over Word. This is all drag and drop. So with Word, you have to line it up based on where your text lines are. And if your lines can get messed up if you have a really big font on one size, then there's going to be a space. So this makes it easy because you can do basically anything you want in Word, but have the customizability to be able to move your text wherever you want it. So I don't have to say between finding a childcare center and check ratings, I want this many text lines. I can just say this is how much space I want between it and not have to figure out how many text lines that would actually be. So I'll just really quickly move more down here. And we'll even create some extra spaces so that we can have fill in the blanks for extra ones. So say we've forgotten about some, or there's something that would be really helpful in a different area that wouldn't necessarily, like say it's someone who's in Seattle and they're like, or no, if they're in Vancouver and they're like, well, I want to make sure it's in the United States, it's not in Canada. Then they can add their own additional line with a checkbox that we might not have realized or might not have been applicable to us. So I'll just create another blank box right here. So to do the checkboxes, this is really intense, prepare yourselves. We're gonna go to buttons and forms, type checkbox. Bam, it's a checkbox. The only thing that you have to choose is if you want it to be automatically checked or you want it to be automatically off, and then they go in and check it later. So I personally prefer to have it normal off because they'll see the box, but it won't automatically be checked because we don't want to assume they've already done it. So you just select all of your boxes. You can go through and select all of these and say, I want these to be check boxes, but you can't say, I want all of these to be checked off at the same time. So you have to do that individually. But we'll just leave that like that since now you guys don't have to do that. So if we wanted to make this a fill in the blank box, same thing, we're at buttons and forms, but instead of clicking checkbox, we choose text field. So that enables it to be a text field that they can type into. The only thing that you have to decide on with this is if you want it to be multi-line, so they can do like full paragraphs in there, or if you want it to be just one line across. So in this case, we just want it to be one line across because it's just one line of text that they're doing. It's one line on a checkbox. If we were to do like a comment section at the bottom, that's going to be bigger. We want this to be a text field. We just want to go down here to where it says multi-line, so they can do as many lines of text as they want. And these, we can also, it automatically chooses scrollable. So say we have a text box this big, but they want to do an entire page worth of text, it'll automatically scroll for them. So they have as much room as they want. You can turn that off if you want. I don't know why you would. I always have it on. So now that we've got these, I'm just going to delete these because they don't line up with anything. I'll make this bigger. And it's literally just, if you make a box the size and then you decide later that you want to change it, you just drag and do whatever you want with it. Now you can also add in your logo to the bottom, and then say we have, so we'll just say, now what is the URL for your blog?
Working Moms Against Guilt.
So I'm gonna make that all caps, which is super easy. It's just an all caps button up here. I'll center it again, make it Lato. And I'm gonna go over to hyperlinks, which is right above buttons and forms on mine. And I'm gonna type in the URL once I select this box. I can do www.workingmomsagainstguilt.com and hit enter, and suddenly that's a link. Did I type it in wrong? I very well might have. Now you'll notice it'll show you here, it's got a red dot, meaning that it's saying this link isn't an actual link. So then you can click on that and it'll open Firefox. And it'll bring you to whatever link you're saying, which it's saying it's not working.
So the www is at the
Oh,
beginning.
there's more W's. Thank you. So if I change that, it'll work. Yep, okay. So then if I go back to InDesign and I change it, so I take out the extra W, now all of a sudden it's green. So that's telling me this link works. And you don't have to go and test every single link to know that they're working. So say you have 15 links, you can easily see if you typed in one of them. So now that we have this, how do we save it and get it onto your website as a content upgrade? So first, we're going to save it as an InDesign document, because that means that you can go in and change this one. It's rather than just saving it as a PDF, you want to make sure that you save it as a native file, so that if you ever want to go and add to it or change anything, you have it set up the way that it is all the time. So I'll just save it as finding a child care center. And then to save it in a way that people can actually download it, we want to go to File and hit Export. And we want to choose Adobe PDF, but we want to make sure that interactive is the option that we're choosing. You can do Adobe PDF Interactive and Adobe PDF Print. So if you're doing print, that would be if you're sending it to a printer and you're going to need bleeds and all of that type of stuff. If you're doing interactive, it's going to keep all of those interactive elements. Print will get rid of all of them. They'll still be in the InDesign document that you've saved, but it will be wiped out for the PDF. Choose Adobe PDF Interactive, hit Save. Basically anything that's going to come up in here is going to be what you want to use. So just hit OK. And then it will open automatically so that you can test it. So now we've got this, and I can click here. And these are suddenly checkboxes. And then we made this here, so I can say, make sure child care center is actually in. And then they can turn that off. And then we've got our text box down here that we can type as much as we wanted to on however many lines we need to use. And then we click here, and it's going to open up the internet browser and take us to the website that was already allocated. You can also do that with the hyperlinks. You could choose to do an email. You could choose to do another page in your document. So say you're creating a ebook and you want to do a table of contents, and you can click on that chapter and it'll take you right to the page of that chapter. Just so that you don't need to scroll through all of the pages of your ebook to get to that chapter, you can do that as well. So now that we've got it saved to the desktop, how do we actually go in and send it to your audience if they subscribe to your email list? So I use MailChimp for my email list, and therefore I use the MailMunch plugin on WordPress. So we'll just go to my website, the WordPress backend.
InDesign, is that a free software?
No, it is. So you can do, it's $20 a month for just InDesign, or it's $50 a month for all of Creative Cloud, which includes Photoshop, Illustrator, all of that.
Oh, okay.
You can also use Canva to do it, which is free. It has a lot of the same capabilities, but it doesn't have the interactive.
Okay.
So,
That's the cool part.
right. Yeah, I learned how to do the I've been using InDesign for 10 years, and I just found out the interactive parts like 6 months ago, and I've been gung ho about them. So I'll just log in really quick.
I just wish doctor's offices could do this.
Right? Yeah. It's really nice. There's one blog that I follow who gave out a how to make sure that you have everything that you need in your about page. And she included a worksheet that was like 5 pages, and it was all interactive. So anytime that I need to redo my about page, I just open up a new version of that and type in whatever I want. And I keep all of the back versions so I can see what I was thinking when I created my about page. But I don't have to print that page out every time, because that gets really tedious and is not so great for the environment or my bank account. So this is my back end. So I'm just going to go to, it's one of my plugins. I'll just show you really quickly the back end on WordPress.
Caitlin, would you speak to why you chose MailMunch over another plugin for?
Because it was the first one that I found, and it's been the one that's easiest for me to use and explain to others.
I use that too.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. The only thing that I don't like is that it says like powered by MailMunch. I could pay to take that off, but I don't really want to pay to take that off. So it's fine. So I use MailChimp Forms by MailMunch is the name of the plugin. And I'll just go over here to settings, and I choose MailChimp. So these are all of my subscription boxes. So what we're going to do is create a box at the end of your blog post that has them fill in whatever. Yeah, I have a lot.
What's the plugin called again?
What was that?
The plugin?
It's called MailChimp Forms by MailMunch, and MailMunch will be the creator of it, just to verify that it is the correct one. And so it's going to be a box at the end of the post that says, download your free checklist. And it tells them why they want to give you your email address. And you can have however many things that you need. So say you want to get their first name and their last name and their email address. You have them fill that out and hit subscribe, and then they'll get the worksheet that you filled out. They don't actually get that until they filled out all of it. So we'll just create a new one. We click on new form, and it opens up in a new window, Mail Munch. We're going to do embedded because that's one of the free options, and it's the one that works the best in this scenario because it's going to be embedded right into the blog post. And we're going to choose the simple theme because it's free. Because free is good.
Are these all mobile friendly as well?
Yes. Yep.
I'm
So-
gonna show you what's right now. Right now.
So we'll call this child care center. So all the form title is internal, so it's just what you're gonna see. So name it whatever makes sense for you to keep everything in order. You saw my giant list. I title them in ways that I know which one I'm going to open. And then just choose general for your list. So join our newsletter is super boring. So we want to name it something that will grab their attention. So we're gonna, and a really good thing to do is mention this content upgrade several times throughout your post. You can have these multiple times throughout your post if you want, but even just say, get your free checklist at the end of this post, so that even if they just read halfway through, they know that you've got something free for them at the end. So we'll say, get your free checklist. And we can change this, change the font color to something a little less jarring. Change it to a similar blue color. And sign up for free to be the first to get notified of new updates is not what they're actually doing, that's just the filler text. So we'll say, sign up for the Working Moms Against Guilt newsletter to get your checklist for free. And then I just keep everything else the same except for the font color. So this is what will happen when they enter their information and click subscribe. They'll get a little thank you thing that will be in place of it. It's only going to show up for like 2 seconds the way that we're doing it, so it's not a huge deal. So don't feel like you have to change this. Oop, that's not. But it is there if you want to utilize it. Then we go to appearance, and we'll make the subscribe button a similar color. We'll just do, this is my favorite teal color, in case you're wondering. And then fields. So right now it automatically just has your email. If you ever do anything where you want to be able to call them by their first name, you can add that. So you can add first name, drag it up to the top, and change this so I can just say first name and email, just to keep it simple. And then, so I've been saying they click subscribe, but no one really wants to click something if the only thing it says is subscribe. It's really boring. So the thing that I always like to use is give me the goods, all in caps. Whenever I have any sort of content upgrade form, that's what it says, but you can do whatever you want. So say you make this a question, says want a free checklist, you can make your button say hell yeah, to really get them to want to click that button and give you their information to get the checklist. So I'll just use give me the goods and then behavior. It's automatically gonna say after the post, I uncheck all 3 of these because these are for every single post that you have. You only want this to go on your blog post that's about finding the right child care center for you. You don't want it to go after every single post. So uncheck all of these, and then click on after the user subscribes. This is where we're gonna give them their PDF. So we go back and we go to your media. And I'll just move this over. I'll click add new, and this is where we'll upload your PDF. I hit select files. I saved it to my desktop. So I click the PDF. You don't want to click the InDesign document, you want to click the PDF. Click open, and it's going to upload it to your website. And then once it's done, you just click on it and get the URL. Select all and put that in for the redirect on subscribe. So this is, the way to think of it is like this is your thank you page. Rather than saying just thank you, this is going to be delivered to you because you typically need to pay to have it delivered to them after they subscribe. Like if you want to pay for MailChimp automation or lead pages, it's gonna cost money to have it automatically delivered to their email inbox. So rather than having that, you can just have your PDF be the thank you page. So we have this as a thank you page, and I'll show you what that actually looks like in a second. So you just integrate, it's something that I've already set up, but you just do that right in your MailMunch settings as you integrate it with your email list provider. And I just go down, I added first name, so I just make sure that it lines up so that it goes in the right category for the person. And I hit publish form. So now it gives me this short code, which I'm going to copy. And I will go to my most recent post, and it's going to be really off topic. If anyone goes to my blog in the next 30 minutes, they're going to be really confused. So I'll go to publish.
You're actually gonna publish that?
Oh yeah, just so I can show you guys.
You didn't put the part about beating children, did you?
What was that?
The part about beating
Oh,
children.
I did remove that, just in case. So let's go to one that I know that I don't have a content upgrade for, which is notifying your life, invention links correct. Let's favorite. So we'll open this blog post, and I copied the short code right from here. So it just says WordPress short code. I just copied that. I'm going to go to the text version. It's at the very end. I'll just center it and paste it in.
And you're doing that on the text side or on the?
Yeah, because when you do it, the way that MailMunch has this set up, it's going to copy some extra formatting. So I just paste it on the text side so that it's literally just the text.
It's already on there.
Bam! Look at, well, that might be because it was automatically set at after the post. So refreshing it might not be there.
Okay.
So I have this little short code that just says put this subscription box that we just created at the end of the blog post. So once this updates, now we'll go to view post. Open a new tab. Now it's at the bottom. Get your free checklist. So I'm going to just subscribe to my own list and click give me the goods. You'll see the thank you page shows up, but only for like 2 seconds. And then it's automatically forwarding me to this page. So you'll notice it's automatically checked. That's because we clicked those. So it's saving whatever version. So make sure you don't try to, if you do test it, set it back to the default before you upload it, because otherwise you're going to have your random scribbly notes on your content upgrade. So then I just go to download and bam, I have the content upgrade. So we didn't have to pay anything for this. MailMunch is a free plugin that you can use. We use all the free settings for it. The only thing that you need to pay for is InDesign, but if you don't want to pay for that, you could also just pay for Canva, not have the interactive elements. Yeah.
Have you used Constant Contact?
I used it for an old job. Wasn't super crazy about it, but I have. And it does. MailMunch integrates with it. The name implies that it works only with MailChimp, but it integrates with ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact, MailChimp. I don't know if it works with ConvertKit, but it works with a ton of different email subscriber version as well. So I just click OK, and it downloads. That's how you give your content upgrades out without having to actually spend any money and then grow your email list. Does anyone have any questions? I know that was a lot of tech information at once, but we are recording a video, so you can always go back and pause it if you're confused.
I'll just say that ProBlogger, who I believe in, who I think is God, is Darren Rowson. I listen to his podcast and everything, says that this is the #1 way that he is upgrading his website and growing his list. So I love seeing that you presented that. Thank you.
I did, one of my favorite bloggers, her name is Exo Sarah. She's based in San Diego, and she blogs about blogging as well. And she had one of her blog posts went viral on Pinterest. And she, like after a week, realized, oh shit, people are reading this blog post, but they're not actually doing anything. They're not signing up for my email list with other prompts or anything. The blog post was on how to be productive. So she created, after that week of losing like 1,000 potential email subscribers, she created a worksheet that went along with her blog post and turned that into 4,000 email subscribers. Because people were already going to that post, and she figures, might as well try to get their email information. and people are doing it. If it's related to your blog post, if it's very specific and it's something that's super helpful for them, they'll give you your email address.
Do you do this for every single blog post?
That was originally my goal. I've kind of shied away from that. It's really easy for me with 2 of my posts. With feminism, it's a little harder to get to come up with ideas for content upgrades because it's not necessarily on topic. It's harder to come up with like tutorials or worksheets with feminism. So originally my thought was I would do one for every blogging and design post, and I do brand them differently for the different types. You'll notice on my blog, all blogging posts have a yellow header, all design posts have a teal header, and all feminism posts have a pink header. So I would do those same colors depending on what topic it was for. But it does get to be, if you have too many, it gets a little spammy where people, if they're your regulars and they see that they read all of your posts, they're going to be like, oh, well, she only wants my email address. So sometimes it is good to just give out information and not necessarily try to get their email address for it so that it doesn't seem spammy.
Do you use the same content upgrades on more than one blog post?
I have. If it's really
Applicable.
yeah,
Fits.
yeah. If it fits with all of my blog posts, with 7 blog posts, I'll do it. I have one that's actually a worksheet to fill out to come up with ideas for content upgrades, which I've used on 2 different blog posts. But usually I will create different content upgrades just so that it's not, those regulars aren't like, oh, well, I just gave you my email address again. I just got the same stupid worksheet. So I'll try to there was one where I was like, I could use that, but instead I'll create like a 7-page ebook template and give that out instead. Just try to go a little outside the box, even if it would apply, just for those regulars to really go above and beyond.
Like I'm gonna try to do like my top 10 posts.
Mhm.
So just start with those,
Yeah.
and then start with the other ones that are popular, just because that's getting probably 60 to 80% of my traffic are those top 10
Right.
posts. So just to try to start with those.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to go is doing your new posts and then any of your top posts, the ones that are getting the most traffic are the ones that you want to start with.
How do you track how they're doing? I guess? Which ones
The
are
way that I
generating
have
the
it
most?
signed, the way that I'm signed up in MailChimp or MailMunch, I get emails once a week that tells me, okay, these are the people who signed up from X subscription box. So it's kind of annoying because every Monday I know I'm about to get 10 emails from MailMunch right in a row. But it's good because then I can save those. But you can also go back to settings MailChimp. I can also see how many subscribers each one has gotten. So I also have a couple other ones that don't have to do with content upgrades. So this one is just if you go to my blog and you go 50% of the way down the page, which I've closed out, so it might not actually work. But oh yeah, there it is. So hoping to expand your blogger biz, sign up, and you'll get emails every Monday with actionable tips. So that's where I've gotten 21 of them because that's on every single page. The other ones are a little smaller because they're only on one page. But I can see the media kit upgrade. I got 12 subscribers. I can click on that number and I can see these are the people who subscribed to that, through my email list, through that box, and this is when they subscribe.
Cool.
And all that's free on MailMunch?
Basically the things that you would be paying for with MailMunch are paying to remove the Powered by MailMunch thing at the bottom, or any additional stylizations you want of your opt-in form. But I found that just using the simple one is fine because the rest of my blog has already so much going on that just having the title with the options is fine.
So do you send out a weekly newsletter? And then are you using InDesign to create a custom?
No, I just use MailChimp to send out my newsletters. So I'll use InDesign for my content upgrades. And it is sometimes I'll send out just to my email subscribers as part of my newsletter. I'll send out a PDF that I've created in InDesign that's just like a free giveaway for them. But typically I'll just use that for the content upgrades to entice people to be signed up for my email list.
Now, are your email subscribers also receiving updates whenever you post a new blog?
I used to have that, but I have taken that off, and I just included the bottom of my emails. Don't miss these recent posts, and I like these recent ones. Just so that, because you can have that, and I did originally just have an RSS feed that went out to all of my email subscribers, but I decided to take that away and give them, basically I'm doing an additional blog post that's just for my email subscribers every Monday.
What kinds of content upgrades seem to be the most effective, I guess? What really seems to, what do people love?
Look at the list. So let's see, it's newest at the top, so we'll ignore the one subscriber. Actually, before I forget, I'm gonna go and remove that, so if anyone goes to that blog post, not like, this.
The checklist.
I don't know what this has to do with like going out and voting. But I would say, so the one that is the highest is my Media Kit upgrade, which is a InDesign file that they actually download that they just fill in with their blog's information if they want to contact a brand and be like, this is how many email subscribers I have, this is how many followers I have on Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest. This is what I offer for payment options for my blog. That was really useful because it went along with the post that's why you need a Media Kit. So saying, you know, why you need something, and then, oh, hey, here's a way that you can create that really easily. I've also found, I've tried to do like desktop backgrounds and phone backgrounds, and it's really great for big bloggers who have a very large audience, like 100,000 views per month or larger. But for me, it hasn't been super successful, so that's something that maybe just would be, if you're a smaller blog, just a free giveaway that you don't need to get your email address for. But the worksheets and templates have definitely been the biggest for me. Templates isn't very widely applicable because it works really well for my niche, but it doesn't necessarily work for other niches. But worksheets are really, really nice.
So basically, if it's super, super useful and relevant to your audience,
yes, exactly.
That's what will work best.
Yes. And I'm very type A, so I love checklists. So if anyone gives me, it's like, just give me your email address and I'll give you a checklist to do everything that I taught you in the post. And I'm like, done. Like, okay, I will do that. I love checklists.
Well, I often go to Pinterest and look for, DIY ideas or whatever, and I'll click through the site. And if the site said, hey, give me your email and you can print out a tutorial checklist for this tutorial or something that would help me actually do the thing.
Right.
I totally do.
Yeah, because otherwise you might also just forget. Like you might be like, oh, this is really helpful while you're surfing on Pinterest, and then you forget like 2 minutes later and you never actually go back to that post and do the super helpful stuff that it's telling you to do. If you're downloading something and whether you print it out or just save it somewhere that you're going to see it, you're more likely to actually go and do that as well.
And do you do that double opt-in? Where they may have to confirm that they want it?
I don't. It's something that I should probably do because I know it helps you not get sent to the spam folder, is if you do the double opt-in.
Okay.
But I do not. Another way that I use InDesign as well, and another kind of content upgrade, is my resource library. So it's password protected, and you get that password. Every single email that I sent out includes at the bottom the password to my resource library with a link, just in case people have forgotten it. If you guys ever want to use it, the password is Chomper because I'm Impossibly Dinosaurs, and it's like the little dinosaur from Land Before Time, which was my favorite. So that's the password if you guys ever want to access it.
Wait, what was that one more time?
Chomper, yep. It's a little T-Rex, and he's got a really big head and little teeth, and he's really cute. So this is where all of my content upgrades, I'm kind of behind on it right now, but my goal is all of my content upgrades go in here. So I've got a cheat sheet for if you're trying to learn how to use your DSLR camera. I've got Wake Up, Kick Ass, Repeat phone backgrounds. I've got vlogging style guide worksheets. I've got a branded end template. All of this stuff was created in InDesign, including all of the graphics for it. So this is another great way that you can see over on my sidebar. I'm pointing to my screen, like you guys can see what I'm talking about on my screen. It's up there. There's resource library, want access to our free resource library, sign up and get instant access. So you get the password and then you can access the library with all of this stuff for free. That's another great way where it's like, I have this idea that's really great for my niche, but I don't necessarily have a blog post on it, and I don't necessarily know if there's enough content to have a blog post on it. you can add it to your resource library and have that as a further incentive to sign up for your
How do you create that password?
You just do a password on WordPress when you're on your post. Just at the top, you can do visibility. It's automatically set as public. You hit edit, and you can do password protected.
I had no idea that was.
It took me an obscene amount of Googling to figure out how easy that was.
So you just created a post.
I just
And
created
you
a
add
page.
to it when you.
It's a
Yep.
page.
Or
Yeah, so it's a page that says sign up for my email list with just a blank, enter your email and first name. And then there's a button that says if you already have the password, and that button forwards to my resource library. And then they just type in the password and they go.
Because I made the mistake of putting it on a post, and it came out in my newsletter as one of the entries in my post. I was like, oh, and I had to send out another newsletter and say, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A while ago, you showed the thank you that popped up for 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Can you extend that longer if that's
You
too
can
fast?
if you don't. So basically, the way that you would have to extend that is by paying to have your content upgrade emailed to them. So rather than creating, because right now it's thinking that it's redirecting them to a page that says thanks for subscribing. It'll be emailed to you shortly, when really it's your content upgrade. So there's no way to actually go in, at least with MailMunch, and extend that timing unless it doesn't redirect to a thank you page and you email. Then it would just be until they refresh the page or close out of the page, that thank you would be there.
The password, so can you do that for like a limited time, like for a week? Like if you're
You just
doing
have to go in
something
and
with people?
manually, I believe. I don't think you could actually, as far as I know, you can't.
So
set a
people,
timer
when
for
you
it.
create a page and then you make it password protected, it still shows up. It's just that if somebody
It'll
clicks
just say
on
this
it-
page is password protected. Type in the password for access.
Oh, okay, and then to get people to that page to get the.
So the way that I did my resource library is if you go to the home page, the link here, I made a second page that's resource library introduction. And that's what this redirects to. So this is a completely separate page. This is a completely separate page than the resource library that says type in your email address and your first name to get access, and your password will be sent to you. And then if it says have the password already, click here to access the library. So then this is the, wait for it.
Oh, and so that was created in that
This is the
MailChimp.
password protected website or page.
Oh, okay, and so that the other page, the entry page, you
That one was
created
public.
through, and you created that through MailChimp.
No, that one I just created, it was just a blank WordPress page. I just added all of that. I would have created, I created the
Oh, but
form.
but yeah, the form.
The form I created through MailMunch, so you can just do
okay.
a general one that doesn't redirect to a thank you page. It just captures their information and then would have the thank you. And then you can just say once you receive the password, click this button, and then it takes them to the password protected site page.
Oh,
Yeah, I have one that's general opt-in, no upgrade is right here. So that's not going to redirect them to anything. It's just, that's what I would put in that type of situation. That's just capturing their email address and first name, and then having the buttons that they can click to the password protected page.
I have a dumb question.
Huh?
How do people know that the PDF is interactive?
Sometimes, so I actually use these interactive elements on my resume. And the way that I do that is sometimes I literally just draw an arrow to the things and say, psst, they're links. Like I'll open up my resume for you.
But even like the checkbox, is it just intuitive? People just know?
Sometimes.
Because I don't know that I would even know.
I don't know that.
So they might end up printing it out.
Yeah, and I mean, you can still print it out.
fine
It'll
to
show
print
up
it
just fine if you print it out.
Yeah.
But sometimes I found it by mistake once. But you can even tell them it's an interactive checklist.
Okay.
In the post, you can
That
say.
does sound better.
So let's see. I can go to. It's not on my resume. It's on my media kit. So. Yeah. So on my media kit, I literally just have these are links, and these click to these posts. Which, if I went too fast.
Yeah,
So
what's
these.
that?
These are my popular posts. This is my media kit.
Oh,
And I literally just say,
I
hey,
love
these
that.
are links. Which not only shows, like, encourages them to click on them, it's also like, hey, guys, I'm smart enough to be able to So it's a little path back too. And then I have brands I've worked with, so these are also links. So you can click here. You can make objects links, you can make text links.
And I assume you can have the text change to a color when they hover over it.
You could not in InDesign. In InDesign, it's just you make it a link, whether it's an object or a group of objects or it's text, but it doesn't have the styling capabilities to change the colors. Sometimes you could also, another way to show people that it's interactive is do the stereotypical blue font with the underline to show that it's a link. So that could work as well. If that really only works for links, not for forms and checklists, but that would be another option. And then I also have, so here I have my email address, and I made this a link that's mailed to Caitlin Cheevers, and then I can open it and bam, it's an email to me. And you can also change in InDesign if you wanted to have a pre-populated subject. You can have that as well. So it's like you could have the subject pre-populated, like, hey, I saw your blog post on this, so that you automatically know. I mean, they can obviously go on and change it, but if they don't want to, they don't have to.
So what kind of value are you getting from your email list? So you obviously are putting a lot of time and effort into building it.
Yeah, so I actually have a e-course that I just launched a couple of weeks ago, and I have made at least 3 sales just from my email list of people who are always getting my emails. I had one person respond to one of my emails and just say, so I'm really interested in your course. This is what I'm trying to do. Will your course teach me how to do that? And I responded saying, this is how you would do that in the course, and she gave me $250. So
What's your course on?
InDesign. So if any of you are interested, I can give you a coupon code to get rid of your phone. So yeah, it's really helpful if you have products as well. I used to have an Etsy page, and I would send emails to my email list saying, hey, I'm having a 50% off sale of everything in my Etsy shop, and I got some sales from that as well. So if you have products that you're selling, whether that's physical book, whether it's ebook, whether it's course, whatever you're selling, you can give those updates to your email list.
I would like anyone who has an email list, if you're willing to share, what is your typical open rate and how much traffic does your email generate, or maybe what's the benefit? I would say my open rate is pretty terrible. It's like 30%.
That's not bad.
That's
not bad.
That's not bad.
She said 30.
So what is it? No, it actually,
That's good. I mean, it's not.
I thought it was terrible. I really did.
That's really good.
Because the open rate for, like, for example, Ahology, when we send emails to our network of 3,000 people, the maybe it's because it's a smaller group, but the open rates are like 50-60%.
Well, that's because it's helpful information for us, and we know that that's going to be helpful for us. But
Okay.
like newsletters are like, if I don't know if you listened to the last pro blogger, he was talking about how Google now separates in Gmail
I know that.
all the stuff into promotional,
Promotional.
and some people never even see it.
Yes.
So that hurts your open rate.
But the other thing I question is the reliability of that factor, because I can't tell you how many people tell me like what they've read in my newsletter each time, and they like, well,
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it, and they are not showing up in my open
Really?
rate at all. And so
Well,
somebody had once said it only records if they open it in such a way that it has a chip or something.
They can, because it's a lot of the providers use GIFs in the and so if you're using Outlook or something that blocks an image from opening, it won't register, because it won't register as a hit against that. So it's not, there's no perfect way of gauging that, but I mean it's good. It's good for trending, because that's really what matters. What's effective for you and what drives your rates up,
Yeah.
You'll never know exactly. Not exactly.
Well, and I'll also confess that traffic, like clicks from my newsletter to my site, which is really all I use it for now, is just to tell them, here's the latest articles. It's maybe a very tiny percent of my traffic. It's like 1%. So, but I haven't sold really any products, and I haven't really tried that hard to make my emails
Now,
good.
how much of your blog post is in the email? Anything?
Yeah, just a little short
Okay.
blurb.
'Cause I know some
Let's
people will
read
also
more.
just send their entire blog post
Oh,
out,
no.
and then it's like, well, you're not. Why would you be trying to get any clicks if you're just sending them the entire blog post? They know that they need.
It's just a teaser, but it's not, it's very auto-generated. It's like RSS.
Yeah.
Auto-generated. I don't personalize it, I don't customize it. But I feel like it's an untapped thing. I'm kind of growing this list. I'm paying like, I don't know, I have Mad Me, and I'm paying like $27 a month to send these emails. I'm really glad that you did this because I need to rethink, I think, a lot about how, first of all, I am giving away a freaking giant ebook. It's like a 100-page ebook. That's what I give away as my sign up to join our list. But I've been giving away the same ebook for like a year.
Right.
And I could totally make these little things.
Right. It's a
And
lot easier because they're short.
Mhm.
And like I could make one. I really have to invest time in it. So like my content upgrades, I'll spend maybe 3 hours on it, but that's because I've been using InDesign for 10 years. But I know people they'll send their idea to a designer. And like so I also do design services, and if I'm doing a content upgrade for someone, if I'm creating it, not the content, but actually creating the PDF in InDesign, it's $25 a page. So if you're sending out one content upgrade a month, it's worth it to learn how to use InDesign and pay $20 a month for InDesign, because then you're not paying someone else to create that for you.
I had a question. So you say you don't primarily use double opt-in.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't get a lot of bogus emails?
No, I actually don't. I can think of at least.
Because that's another thing. I do double opt-in, and I find a lot of people don't do the double opt.
Yeah.
I lose them.
What's your definition of double up?
They have to get an email that says, "Are you sure you want to get this newsletter? Click this link," and then they're opted in. Then they're truly on the
Some
list.
email providers require that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they get notified as their spam for all their emails that they do.
Mhm.
Yeah. So require it.
Yeah,
And actually, it's supposed to be a cleaner list, because if they actually want you, then they're going to say, yes, I do want you.
Yeah, and I've actually found that, which is one of the reasons that it's on my ever-growing to-do list, to add the double opt-ins to all of my emails. But I really don't feel like I get hurt feelings when someone unsubscribes from my list, because then I know, like, okay, you didn't care about the content that I'm working really hard to create, so now my numbers are going to be better. I'm going to have a better understanding of like which of my content is the most valuable. So my open rates are going to be better because there's fewer people who aren't opening the list or opening the email because they don't care about it. So it's really good, in a way, if people unsubscribe from your list. It's not necessarily that they think you're annoying, it's just they're not your target market.
Is there a way to look at a printout of one email and see everything that they've
Did they click on?
yeah, well, that they have signed up for? Because it looks to me like you're doing multiple mail lists for different.
Oh, I see what you mean. So everything all of the content upgrades that they've received?
Is it all going to one list?
Yes, it is.
She's got one list.
Yeah.
One list. Okay.
The way so I also pay for MailChimp automation. So typically, this is how I used to do it, where it was free. But I now do it where it actually sends them an email, and it's actually kind of tedious.
I already got it.
It's kind of tedious now to have to go and create a new email sequence every time I create a content upgrade, which is also another reason I haven't been doing that very much. But I just use, so on my lists, I technically have 3, but 2 of them are for webinars that I did. But under my newsletter, you can create groups. So it's still the same overall list. And then I have a content upgrades group, and then I can choose, so I can see, these groups, who's in them. And that's how it tells me, okay, someone signed up for the pin it buttons group, send them this email with the pin it buttons.
Well, what I was trying to say is if you had one user's email in front of you, is there a way to see everything that they have
That they clicked on? Or?
well, that they have signed up for?
Oh yeah, MailChimp will show you all that shit. I mean, MailChimp will show you anything you want to know about.
Let's see what my
They
dad.
rate people. Yeah, they like rate you by how much you interact.
Let's see how many emails my dad has opened.
Yeah, does your dad open?
So he's not in any groups.
Has your dad converted?
He's never gotten a contact.
My dad
like
likes my
76.
email. My dad doesn't. He doesn't have a blog.
Has he ever
He doesn't even have a
clicked?
Facebook. So he's not rating. He's opening them. So yeah, you can see, if they've opened them. You can see. This is like the ultimate test of my subscribers. I'm gonna go through all of my friends and be like, have you actually clicked them? So let's see, Angela. He is not.
Actually-
Who I'm talking to.
Pro blogger, Darren Rouse, also my idol, my blogging idol. He said he had a good tip about like, pick one person to contact once a week or once a month, I forget, from your list. And like, I think that'd be a great way to choose someone. Look through your list and find somebody who reads every damn email and clicks on every little thing, and just reach out to them and say, hey, so-and-so,
That
thank
would
you
be
so
my
much,
mother.
and let's
Yes.
talk.
That's what I was gonna say. I already talked to my mom.
You can also create a segment. So I can say that this is actually something they do every quarter. I will do campaign activity did not open all of the last 5 campaigns. So this is someone who didn't open
Very
any or all of the last 5. And I'll preview it. And you want to do 5 because you don't necessarily, if they didn't open the last 1 email, it might not have been something applicable to them. They didn't open all of the last 5. They might have, if they opened 1 of the last 5, they're not on this list. They didn't open a single one of the last 5. So there's 75 people in here who haven't opened the last 5 of my emails. Then I'll send them an email and be like, did I do something wrong? Is there a reason that you haven't my emails? You have 2 weeks to respond to this email and just say, keep me on the list. Otherwise, I'm going to remove you from my list. Don't do anything like the guy that was just like, his post went viral because he was just an absolute dick in the email that was like, you haven't opened any of my emails, and that's totally fine because now I'm just going to remove you and blah, 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 blah. It's like, if you're going to remove them, just remove them. Don't be a dick. So just send them a friendly email that's like, hey, maybe you're on vacation, maybe, these haven't applied to you. Is it something that you still are interested in? So like, my godfather will be like, I haven't opened your emails, keep me on your list, I still want them. Like, I want to know what you're doing, even if I'm not opening them. So there are people who will respond, say like, hey, sorry, I was on vacation, I didn't get your emails, but I'm still interested in what you have to say. Otherwise, just delete them. Then you're not wasting MailChimp money, having so many subscribers, you're not, jeopardizing your open rate to your rates with people who aren't actually opening your emails.
In all of the emails, it's at the bottom, does it say, please remove me?
Yeah, there's an unsubscribe link for my email. I think that's an automatic
Every
thing that
service
MailChimp
does
does.
that.
Yeah, I think it's automatic that you can't remove that. And on MailChimp, you can also do a thing that says why they're receiving this email. So like when I have my webinar lists, I'll say, you're receiving this email because you opted in for this webinar. So they know they're not just like, who the hell is this girl? Why is she emailing? It'll tell them why I'm emailing them.
Can we see some examples of your upgrades?
Yeah. Let's just go.
Like some that you're most proud of? Because I think this will inspire us. And now that we have your password, we can.
Yeah, exactly. You can go. It's out of date, but it's on my ever-growing to-do list to keep them updated. So this is. I also have a InDesign file that's just a template for my content upgrades as well. So that's a nice way to save time. I just save this as. I'll literally just copy this file into a new folder and retitle it, save time. Just one last thing that I thought I should add. So let's go.
Speaking of templates, is anybody? Are there InDesign templates that you could like
Oh yeah.
pre-made?
So Creative Market is like my best friend. Creativemarket.com. They have, it's like kind of like an Etsy for designers. They've got Photoshop files, they've got just stock photography, they've got website templates, whether you're on WordPress, Joomla, whatever, like Tumblr. They've got InDesign files, like basically all of my resumes. I'm just like, I love design, but I don't want to spend time designing my resume because resumes are super boring. So I go on Creative Market and I pay like $6 for an InDesign template or a resume, and I just go in and fill all the information. So Creative Market is the best if you don't want to have to come up with your own template design. Let someone else do it for you.
Or if you're not a professional designer.
That too.
And your design looks like shit.
That too, exactly. So let's see.
Can you modify the templates though?
Yes.
You are
Yep,
good.
I'll show you open one that I have so many graphics, it's unreal. So templates, we'll go to resumes. So let's open the blue one.
And if you sign up now, you can download 6 free design files.
Yes. Oh yeah, I get those emails. I get emails every Monday with 6 free design files, and I get them every Monday. I look forward to free emails. So it's telling me these are the fonts that were in the template that I don't have on my computer. So I just close it, and I'll just know that it highlights it in pink if it's a font that you don't have on your computer that's in the document. So you can just go in and replace them if you don't want to have to find the font online. But that's why it's highlighted in pink. Look, I just got an email from Mita. So this is the template. So I can go in and edit this however I want.
Rules.
So, and the nice thing is, if you click W, it goes from the editing view to the print view, so you can see what it looks like without all the text boxes. So then I'll just go in and I'll just change all this. And I can just, so this is a cover letter that went with the resume. It was like a set. You get your cover letter, your portfolio, your resume, all that. And I can just go in and type this. I could also go in and change this however I want. If I wanted to just absolutely destroy this designer's work, I could do that if I want. So yeah, you can edit it as however much you want as well.
And when they print it, can it not print the black so it doesn't use so much ink?
You can just change that as well. Just change this. So this is, it's probably locked.
I mean, it looks nice, but I just wanted the option to.
You could also send them one that's like, this is a printer friendly one that has a light gray that wouldn't use so much ink.
You can get a feminine logo creator.
Yeah, there's some
my God.
good stuff on there. There's some of the stuff is really expensive, but
All I would say about resumes is just be careful because a lot of companies have auto readers, and
Yes.
depending on what's there, you're going to run into trouble. And if the auto reader doesn't let you through, nobody's going to look at you. Nobody's going to be able to see you.
I typically will do. I have just in my Apple notes. I have a text-based resume that I'll copy and paste into the text-based resume if they have the auto system, and then if I can attach my PDF that an actual person can look at, I'll include that as well. Yeah, because there are some times when I'm just like, it tries to autofill in from my InDesign resume, and I'm just like, what are you smoking, you computer? Because that is not what it says. So, yeah,
the other thing is, if you're not a designer person, it can be hard for someone who's looking for specific things to kind of go through a highly designed resume. And
this is not recommended if you're in a STEM field. I just wouldn't recommend it. If you're a designer, yes. If you're a mathematician, I wouldn't go with this design heavy on it. But you can still get really nice resume templates that are very plain. And they have some, even on Creative Market, they have some that are Word documents that you pay $5 for, and you get a Word-based one, and you just go and fill it in. So if you don't want to use InDesign,
Magazine templates. Oh.
If you pay for the Canva version, which I do, the business version or whatever, I don't know how much it is, but it's worth it. They also have resume templates. They have templates for ebooks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. It has some good stuff too.
Okay, I'm just saying, be really careful about resume.
Yes.
That I know about design, not so much. But.
Did you say you could import this into Word? Because some creators specify Word resume.
Yeah, there are some. So if I'll just go to Creative Market. It's seriously the most addicting website. Oh my gosh. So we'll go to templates, resumes, and they'll say on here that it'll be, of course, none of them. So this one right here, it's got a DOCX, InDesign, and PSD. So you can, it's the same exact resume, but you can create it in Word, InDesign, or Photoshop. So it's got the same layout, and you just change it in whichever program you're most comfortable with, or whatever one you need. Any other questions?
Well, I hope everyone signs up for Caitlin's email. Upgrades. And I think this was really helpful. I'm inspired now. I'm like, I've got to come up with some cool content upgrades and use InDesign, at least try it. I wonder if they have a free trial.
They do. Yep.
We try it out.
And I don't tell anyone this, but you can also, I just have a membership, and then my best friend Angela, who lives in LA, just pays me $20 every month. And because you get to log in on 2 computers at the same time. So she logs in on one and I log in on the other. So you can split the cost too. It's not technically legal, but you know.
How much is it? Do you know?
Just for InDesign, it is $20. For all programs, it's $50 per month.
If you don't use it that much.
What were all the programs in the 50? Like
What kind of programs do you want? Because they got anything that you could ever want.
There's like 40 of them.
Yeah.
So is it
Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Lightroom, Acrobat Pro.
What if
Got one that
you
does
signed up
screenplays.
for InDesign to try it, and you
What?
had it for like 4 months and decided not to do it anymore, but somebody's downloaded your file? Are they not going to be able to use the file once
It's so the
if you
PDF.
unsubscribe to it?
That's why you created an InDesign file and then a PDF. So the PDF is a PDF that will be open. You can open that wherever. Like if you don't have InDesign on your computer and I'm sending you a PDF,
No,
it's
but
the InDesign file that you won't be able to open anymore once you don't have InDesign.
so if I were to offer it to somebody, but then I wasn't going to keep InDesign, it really would. They wouldn't be able to use it.
That's why you would want to, yeah. So if you wanted to edit it ever in the future, I would say, and you aren't sure about InDesign, I would say try it if you like it, great. Otherwise, maybe go with Canva or something that's free so that you'll be able to edit that. Otherwise, just know that you might invest time later trying to recreate it in Canva or Word if you don't want to change it. And yeah, I do have my course that teaches you how to use InDesign, and it's actually a course where you create. It's not a course where you're just going to learn how to draw shapes and then have to figure out how to apply it later. It's actually geared at bloggers and how to use InDesign to grow your blog. So you're creating a style guide, a 1-page worksheet, and an ebook in the course. Like you're actually creating that as you're going through the lessons. So if anyone's interested, I can get you a coupon. Try that out. It does not include InDesign. The cost of the course doesn't. So you will have to have the free trial or the monthly subscription.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I encourage you to.
Yeah, we didn't really, normally we kind of start before the speakers